That is a lot of light in my face. But the light from above gives me a lot of light to see things around me with, but not so much for, you know, folks seeing this with. And I only really think that's relevant today because another year, another VEDA, and since it starts the day after Trans Day of Visibility, I keep using this as a trans update video. I have a whole playlist of previous VEDA videos, which I'll link to in the doobly-doo, just like everything else I might mention. And I'll get some related links out of the way up front. I'm going to have a link to Jackson Bird and his most recent video, which is about reactions to medical transition, or reactions to transition generally, as well as a link to Ash Hardell's channel because they're non-binary, not in the same way I am because, you know, everybody's different, but just if they've also done a lot of general queer education stuff, so that's a good resource if people want to know more. Start with the basics. I'm still Candace, and I don't think I'm going to be changing that. It's always possible to change my mind later, but I was named after Candace Bergen, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually kind of cool with that, mostly because of Murphy Brown, probably. But I don't have a problem with my name, and since I collect and sell dice, and dice is literally in my name, I'm a gamer with dice in their name. Changing that doesn't... I don't think I'm going to want to change that. For pronouns, I'm still okay with she. They and he would also be fine. Part of how I started to figure out that, you know, that gender thing might be something worth thinking about was when I got misgendered, and it's hard to call it that online because that's the only place I could be misgendered is online, because those fuckers gotta go. I got called he, and it made me happy, which I didn't expect, but like I said, here's your sign. But yeah, she, they, he are all, for now, still just fine. I just don't relate to newer ones. They have their uses in other people. It's just not me. Maybe I'm too old for them. I don't know. I am still on T. I have been for a few years now. I have changed my T, though, because giving myself injections started becoming troublesome, so I have swapped to a patch. This is actually a used one I just changed off, and you can see how it's not exactly pasty white person flesh toned. It's a little too orange-ish for me, but, you know, it sits on the belly and people can't see it anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. But I swapped to this because it's easier to deal with swapping out a patch every day than stabbing myself and hoping it works out the first jab, because it didn't always, and that was... It got to the point where it was starting to interfere with me being able to give myself my injections on time. That hesitation of, it might fuck up again. So, there's that. Other than that, there's the whole reason why you're actually getting my face lit is I haven't actually... There's this. It's more abundant in some spots than others, and that's not unusual. I suspect I have both the side effects of the total body irradiation, which fucked up hair follicles all over my body. I don't suspect the ones on my face were left out in that. So that's probably contributing some to the unwillingness to fill in. But there's also the genetics of my dad did not grow facial hair well. He had permanent patches just wouldn't grow in. His inability to grow full facial hair may relate to what this would have done even without the radiation issue. Beyond that, as I mentioned, these fuckers that I keep off camera gotta go. I've hated them since they grew in, and not entirely for gender reasons. Gender just adds to it, but no. Chronic crippling back pain that they significantly contribute to means, yeah, no. No. Now, for the rest of VEDA, I have a couple of plans for things to talk about. I do actually want to talk about books, both in how reading has gotten more difficult for me and the audiobooks that I've been listening to, because audiobooks gets around my specific problem related to these and why I have them in the first place. And general health update, because, you know, this shit show, of course, had new things go wrong with it. You can probably also hear the fish tank in the background, and I'll insert a clip of that because I wasn't sure I'd be able to get a good shot on the fly, so I pre-recorded that. Just like I pre-recorded a little bit of footage with the cat in case she decided not to be sociable. But this is Baby. She is a cat. She is a brat. She is very floofy. I also pre-recorded a little bit of footage of my two habanero babies, who are getting quite big. That's my trans update. That's your basic introduction to the residents of my apartment, and the very few ideas I have for this year's VEDA. So if you have any questions or ideas or something for me to talk about, feel free to share in the comments. 'Cause, yeah. I will talk to you tomorrow.